Moon was the final DLC for Black Ops 1, and to say this map innovated just like the rest of Black Ops 1 would not be a surprise at all. Now, when it came to Moon, there was two ways to unlock the map. Obviously, you could pay the Final Strike. I think it was the Final Strike. I can't remember what no, Resurrection. You could pay the Resurrection backpack and get that plus the World at War maps remade or kind of remastered, I would say. Or if you had the World at War maps already through having the Digital Deluxe Edition or the hardened, I think it's called the Prestige Edition. Yeah. You would have the map for free as part of that collection. Now Moon added a lot, and I mean a lot, to zombies. In terms of just how the story would go from different areas. Now they're no longer fucking around with just military bases. They're doing the fucking Moon now. So many like new boss, and there's not really new boss enemies, but there's so many like new just stuff to Moon. So let's talk about some of that, shall we? So Moon, you start off with two areas of the map. You have No Man's Land and you have Griffin Station, which Griffin Station is obviously on the Moon. We'll talk about that more in a bit. But No Man's Land is a very interesting location because it's also the spawn room, but it's also the Pack-a-Punch room as well. So you have to come back to this location later on to Pack-a-Punch and also get Chug/Speed-Cola, which will spawn in randomly and will rotate depending on how often you visit. So if you visit 3 times, you'll see one of the packs twice and the other one only once. No Man's Land is kind of like an infinite, it's kind of like an infinite location where you can just kill zombies for as long as you want until you run out of ammo or if they overrun you. The only issue with that is the zombies start to run, they gain more health, and after a while, dogs spawn, hellhounds spawn. This is the only time you'll see hellhounds actually on the map is in No Man's Land. Now, like I said, there's a teleporter which you take. You stand on the teleporter for I think it's like 7-8 seconds, and then you go to the Moon. Now the Moon, obviously, is just low gravity central. Like there's so many areas where it's just low gravity, and it really fucks with your movement, which is I think a big issue for me when it comes to this map. I understand why they did it. They had to keep Moon somewhat realistic, and they couldn't make it so like, oh yeah, there's no anti-grav, like the spacesuits reduce anti-gravity or what else. I understand, but it's still annoying. There's a new perk, of course, to Moon called Mule Kick. And Mule Kick is a very interesting perk because they decided to add this in every single map, including Not Done Tilted for BO1. And Mule Kick's kind of just ability is it gives you a third weapon. However, that third weapon does disappear if you die. I believe this is one of the add-on perks on Cold War actually that kind of fits that, where you can still keep your third weapon or your third weapon stays there until you buy Mule Kick and then it comes back to you, which I think is a really cool feature. There are two new wonder weapons. There's a wonder weapon gun and a wonder weapon tactical grenade. The wave gun. The wave gun is kind of a 2-in-1. It could go dual wield, but it could also go full connected together. And they both have separate abilities. The wave gun is a really fucking cool wonder weapon, and I think it really adds to the map a shit ton. The QEDs are the most random wonder weapon ever, but I love them. The QEDs have a bunch of positive and negative effects which could change the map. For example, the fireworks ability from BO3, that could happen to any weapon. So if you throw a QED down, you could get a ray gun, and that would damage you as well as the zombies, so you have to be careful. Sometimes it'll give you power-ups. Let me try and find like a full list on the COD wiki here of what it does. Yeah, so like I say, I talked about the ray gun firing in a circle. Has the ability to down the player. It can spawn a free power-up. It can open a door for free. It produces a black hole like a Gersh device. Spawns a Semtex grenade. Teleports players to a random location. Like I say, spawns any perk. Spawns a perk bottle, which is insane. Absolutely insane considering it would be Black Ops 1. It's needed for the not wonder weapon. It's needed for the Easter egg, which the Easter egg. We'll talk about more about the Easter egg in a bit because the Easter egg is fucking incredible, especially the ending. there's a new zombie, a new like boss zombie, the astronaut zombie, and this guy is a pain in the fucking butt. So what happens is he's a slow walker, kind of like how George was, but to basically trigger him to attack you, you gotta get really close to you, or you gotta get really close to him. He'll then grab you, and then headbutt you. If he headbutts you without you getting away, he will take one of your perks. And let's say you have quick revive, you're playing solo, and you get caught by him, you lose quick revive. You lose the free quick revive. I think in my footage, actually, I lost a quick revive as well, which is very annoying. Something else that he'll do as well is he'll hit your wet or red health, I think regardless if you have jug or not, which will obviously make you one hit to zombies nearby. There's obviously the PES suits, which are basically like astronaut suits. And there's a hacker device, which allows you to do a bunch of features like open a door for free, although it takes 20 years to do that. Respend the mystery box to a point where you can give it to a friend. There's so many cool features with the hacker device. Unfortunately, though, you do lose your astronaut suit when you have the hacker device, which I think is a good balance reason, to be fair. There's the escalators, which are needed for the Easter egg as well. And they will breach certain locations. So they'll breach the Biodome, which is like kind of the big training area, Tunnel 6, and Tunnel 11. I think you need it to breach Tunnel 6 in order to do one of the Easter egg steps. But the escalators can be a real nuisance, especially if you don't use the hacker device. Probably another reason why I'm not a big fan of the map. Now let's talk about the Easter egg, because I think the Easter egg is worth talking about. Richtofen's grand scheme. I fucked that up, I can't believe I did. Richtofen's grand scheme. This is such an incredible Easter egg, and I think this is what put Easter eggs on the map, because of just how it ended. So, what you had to do is you had to obviously you had to complete the Corner Dead Easter egg, and you had to complete the Shangri-La Easter egg to even start this. And then you do a bunch of steps, and midway through the Easter egg, which is I think is incredible, is Richtofen and Samantha gets revealed to be in the MPD, which was kind of like, I think almost known, but very known now, but back then would have been fucking mental. And halfway through the Easter egg, or actually towards the end of the Easter egg, both parties switch. So Richtofen and Samantha switch bodies, which I think is weird, but you know, it's COD Zombies, so what do you expect? And the final step after that is the place Samantha says again, because Samantha says is, I think it happens 2 or 3 times in the Easter egg. But upon doing that, 3 rockets get launched from the moon to the Earth and blow up the Earth. Yes, that is right. Earth gets blown up on moon, which I think is incredible. And the aftermath is obviously, transit and the Victor story. And obviously at the time when people were experiencing that Easter egg, they were like, what the fuck? What now? Like, what now? We don't know what's going to go on now. Like, what's next? But obviously, now that we're like, in 2023, we know, oh yeah, it just leads on to transit. And of course, Nuketown at the same time. But yeah, also something else, well, if you go back to Area 51 or No Man's Land, the sky is actually red. Obviously implying that the Earth has been blown up. Anyway, let's get to some trivia, shall we? So, Area 51 or No Man's Land, zombies do not drop power-ups. I kind of knew this one already, but just in case you didn't know, you know now. You could, with the hacker device, actually hack the Pack-a-Punch to make a cage go around. I know this is not really something mentioned on the trivia, but I think this is a really cool thing to talk about, because it allows you to safely Pack-a-Punch. Moon was originally going to be Paris. I think this is something that I think a lot of zombie fans kind of know, and on DeReese it kind of hinted towards it being Paris with the billboards, with obviously Call of the Dead being there, Kino being there, and then Paris being there. However, I wouldn't be surprised if Treyarch kind of ended up changing it to Moon, because they wanted Moon to be like fucking badass, which I mean they fucking did well at that. Obviously in the Eisendrache, it's actually different. So the rockets, instead of hitting Earth, rockets get sent from Earth to hit the moon, which is funny. It's pretty funny. Obviously, I think this is the first map to have Samantha's Lullaby as well, which is obviously a very well known, zombie soundtrack. You'll hear it a few times throughout like the games and stuff. And well, yeah, Moon for me is a very interesting map, and it added so much, like Black Ops 3's version of Moon having a Space Dog, big feature, big feature. But Moon, I think, started this whole grand scheme of the zombie storyline getting confusing, which is something I'm going to mention more as we get towards the Black Ops 2, like later half of Black Ops 2 and the Black Ops 3 videos. Do I love Moon? I think for what it did for zombies, yeah, without a doubt. But do I want to go play Moon when I could play the likes of like Call of the Dead, Ascension, Keto 5? Not really. Moon is definitely down there as like one of my least favorite zombie maps, gameplay wise, but story wise and what it did for the zombie series, it's definitely up there because it matters a lot, and the Easter egg is fucking badass. Like, I mean, who doesn't want to blow up the earth in game? Gotta clarify that there, lol. Anyway, I'll see you Muppets in the next one. Obviously the next video is going to be Transit, which is going to be a fun video to talk about. Let's see how that goes, shall we? Peace.